to the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. I'm your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and today we have another wonderful treat, man. It's been a brother that's been around that I met through another really talented brother that really got me into doing shows. That is Black Men Taking Our Community Back. I'm like one of the first collaborations I ever met on YouTube. I love that guy out of Houston, Texas, and he brought this brother to me on a group hangout one night. And that is the Subzero3639 channel. Very intelligent brother, very smart. Has a growing channel now, over 3,600 subscribers. I remember when he was getting started, he only had maybe about 100 or 200, but the brother's been pushing. We want to help him get a little bit more. And today, for a topic or a discussion, we'll be talking about the Black human capital discussion. We'll be discussing a little bit about IQ, the brain drain, and certain things. So, but first of all, man, Subzero, man, thanks, man. Welcome on the show, man. It's been a long time coming. How you doing today, fam?
Go ahead, I'm here.
Yeah, you here? I said, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
All right, man. Good to have you on the show, man. Let me ask you a question. You have a very interesting channel from a conservative viewpoint. Why did you want to pick this this topic today, the Black human capital discussion?
Well, for one, I think human capital is kind of like the silent killer. It's like cancer, you know. It's something that when we talk about racism, white supremacy, and I'm a proponent, I believe that, you know, those are factors that we face in America as Black people. I do believe that that's an issue. However, I think human capital really speaks to why we're in the position we are as a people. I think we can really, you know, alleviate most of our issues by increasing that. And for those of you that don't know what human capital is, I mean, basically it's a definition. Human capital theory speaks to the collective knowledge of be it a people or an individual. So human capital can be your know-how on, you know, how well are you at coding? Like most Black people, when you say coding, they glaze over. Oh, yeah, that's probably boring. I don't want to do that. Well, if you don't want to do that, then you know you locking yourself. You closing a great opportunity to be able to make six figures fairly easy within 3 years. And it's also an avenue whereby you can get into with just certifications. You don't need the degree. So human capital is something that I've been to over the last, I'd say about year. You know what I'm saying? I've been kind of dabbling with it. One of my favorite YouTubers is Black Patriarch. Kind of me and him share. Yeah, he's real good. You have to read his stuff, but he's a real sharp brother. He's from California. Yeah, but deep intelligent brother. He talks about it. Yeah, soul. And actually, it's really, if you really look at human capital and human capital theory, it really speaks to what W.E.B. Du Bois was talking about. And it kind of falls along the category of even Booker T. He was just more so blue collar, if you will. But right, exactly. It was that it still speaks to that same ilk as far as, you know, skills, like a trade, you know, having some sort of substantive, tangible abilities that you can go out and, you know, and basically once we reach a certain critical mass within our community, what will take place then is, you know, we will rise as a people. But we don't have enough because we do, like you mentioned earlier, we have a brain drain, just like Africa. You know, soon as someone is intelligent in the Congo, they trying to get the hell up out of there. They're not trying to stay there and assess the problems and fix the issues that face the Congo, or fix the issues that face even within the Black community. As soon as some leave, you know. So as soon as a brother gets to the education or gets some sort of skill set, he's like, man, I'm going to Harvard, Morehouse, I'm going to Harlem, you know, so the Black community thereby suffers in the long run.
Let me ask you this, because you're making some strong points. We know that there was and you mentioned, you know, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T, a little older, but he was proponent for the agriculture. He recruited a lot of people in Washington. And then that was, we need to get more blacks farming, blacks in the agricultural. work. W.E.B. Du Bois, a little bit, like you said, a little bit different. You talk about the brain drain, and you mentioned this scenario where you have an intelligent person in the Congo that, because the Congo doesn't have any place to hone their skills or any infrastructure, they go to maybe France or Belgium. But what about in America? Because you have a smart Black Americans, but they're still in the same country. Why isn't that Black people, when they are intelligent, why can't they stay within the Black community when they're in the same country? It should be easier if you think about it, because they're not going to another country. They're still there in America. So why don't you think the Black people still stay within the ranks?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this, and just so you know, you blank out from time to time when you talk. So if I don't answer or I'm slow, it's because it may go in and out. But I think, to me, in my personal opinion, I think integration ruined that, because we had the doctors and lawyers. There's a place in Birmingham called Ainsley. And a friend of mine, he likes the historic houses, because I used to flip houses full time. And so we went through Ainsley one time, and he would tell me, he's a history buff, and he would just tell me about how, the upwardly mobile Blacks lived in Birmingham, in Ainsley, as well as the blue collar Blacks. And so I think when you lose that, whereas other communities, they kind of have that happen within an environment where the I wouldn't say talented 10th, but the people with the real human capital, those people, when they are forced to stay amongst each other, it lifts them as a whole. Because if I'm going to school every day and I see a doctor, it's just like look at the kids. Like if a child is raised in the house, you got two kids, both got the same IQ, both same level of intelligence. But one kid, his mom is on drugs and his dad is locked up. So he grows up seeing his mama turning tricks, and his daddy, he barely sees him. He sees him once every month or whatever. Then you got another kid in another house where mom's a doctor, dad, the Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show type situation. They, you can kind of see, it's easy to see which kid is going to be set up for success because of exposure, because of even without the money, even without the money and wealth that they'll have access to, just the sheer fact that they've been exposed to that, seeing dad get up with a white collar shirt on and put a suit on and go to work every day as a doctor or whatever, that automatically programs that child to think a whole different way than they would if they were forced to, if they never saw that before. And I think that happens on the macro in the community, when the Black community, because any Black person that makes $1, they want to go live with the white people. They name them. I mean, to a certain extent, you can't. You've even talked about that. I mean, he's actually doing something for himself. And I mean, I do IT, man. I got a clean shave. I don't even have a beard. Like I'm clean shave. I got waves. I try to work out. I dress a certain way with slacks and the polo to work. It's certain parts of town I go in, fuck nigga, as soon as I pull up, look at this bitch ass nigga. That's just how, if you from the hood, you grew up, that. You kind of been around those types of guys. So there's a schism, that you have these, as some people call them, park apes or whatever, and they're the ones that really kind of cause a lot of the issues and cause the community, stop the community from healing. And if it wasn't for those guys, I could live anywhere. But I wouldn't want my son growing up at a school where his kids he's gonna get bullied, or he's gonna get jumped on because he has on nice clothes, or because he used proper subject verb agreement. Like, so I think that and I really still blame the government for this. I do think that the social programs caused it.
Let me ask you this, and you're can you hear me now pretty good?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. You make some strong points. Now, where we are right now with an integrated society, and with Blacks who do have talent living in sometimes mixed neighborhoods or being the only black person at all white neighborhoods. How can black people right now, in your opinion, fix the brain drain?
There's a few ways. I mean, real short, practical ways. Namely, I would say invest in education. And then we need to, because we invest in, like, a lot of times Black Lives Matter, for example. I know this may seem pretty, out of the way, but let me say this. Black Lives Matter invest a lot of time defending stupid street niggas. They just do. Some street nigga did some shit he ain't had no business doing. Got his ass whooped or shot or choked or some shit. Here they come protesting. So a lot of times in the black community, we invest in the losers. I say, if you really want to fix the brain drain in our community, let's invest in the talented people in our community. We don't invest in the talented. We invest in losers. So what that looks like to me is, why not have your children spend an hour and a half a day doing their work? I don't give a damn what school you go to. And a half a day, Monday through Friday, into your schoolwork, you're gonna succeed. I mean, you just on sheer force. I mean, there have been studies of Asian kids in like the ghettos of Philadelphia that live in the poor communities. And I think I actually had a video about this where they had jumped on the Asian kids. Those kids were kicking ass academically. And I made a joke. I said they probably whooping their future boss's ass, Like it takes investing in, and I know it sounds like a broken record, because when people say education, first thing black people think is, okay, go talk to your school board, person, or talk to the principal. No, damn that. You invest. You put your time in with your kids. Send them to Kumon at 3 years old and make sure that they're understanding math and trigonometry and algebra by the time they're in the 7th grade. That will get them ahead of the curve. Making sure that, you put the time in. It's going to take that. And we don't value that anymore because, it's just, we're in the age of every time you turn the TV on, you see LeBron dunking a basketball, you're going to want to be like LeBron. You're not going to want to be like the doctor who you never see, who lives in the suburbs, who makes, we was just talking about plastic surgery. I know one person up here in Atlanta that's a plastic surgeon. They make $600 and some a year. Like, people don't know this. Like, you make damn near actually more than what some professional athletes make, and more than what most rappers make. All you gotta do is just put the time in. That's it. It's just gonna take hard work, man. And I don't think we're gonna really do that until black people get in a position of pain, like where shit's starting to hurt. Like, that's the only way. We only respond to some pain, man. That's when black folks say, oh shit, I got to straighten up. Like, right now the government has really afforded blacks to be lazy in their apathy, and in certain instances. I know that's a curse word to a lot of hoteps and conscious brothers when I say lazy, but although I do believe in white racism and stuff like that, I also believe that there's no way in hell we could be the wealthiest people on earth, and people come from foreign countries with the same black skin. You pick African immigrants through a random lottery system, and they come over here and outperform the Asians. They kick the Asians' ass. Mm-hmm. So what's your excuse?
And that's a good idea. You said a random lottery system, right? So it's random for the green card. This is important. Let me go back to this question though. And I want to, and I'll give a shout out to Soup Chatters in a minute. You make a good point that we need to invest in the talented people. How do we find out what people are talented?
To be completely honest with you, I honestly believe we know. I think I went to school with a guy, and he's actually a principal at a school right now. But this guy, he was a damn genius, man. All A's, didn't work hard. Just, we all went to school. We knew those guys, man. We knew them. The guys that didn't have to work hard to get good grades. The people that, not just guys, girls, whoever. We got tons of them. I got a friend of mine, her parents don't have any money. But I knew this girl was exceptional. She was like 6, 7 years old, talking like a grown woman. Not because she had been around, not like on some crazy, like sexual stuff. But I mean, she was talking like holding full conversation. It was almost crazy. So, and now she's like, I think she's in like the 8th grade, 9th grade. And I asked her, one of the girls, somebody needed, and I told her mom, when I say somebody needs to send her somewhere to a different type of school. Somebody needs to spend the time with, in the summer, sending her to coding camps, exposure. Like when I was in school, there was this guy named Todd Kelly, right? And Todd went to Carver with me, Carver High School in Montgomery. And he played basketball. He was a nerdy guy. Todd was a military kid. We got Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery. So Todd, every summer, his parents would send him to Duke University. And he had been going since he was little. He would go, and I don't know what, it was some little program they had where he would go. It was an academic program. And he would always tell me how excited he was to go. And, Todd, by the time Todd was just different. His parents, every day we'll play basketball. Todd parents would come get him at 4:30. He gone. Me, I'm staying till they cut the damn lights out because the dope boys don't get in there at 5 o'clock. That's, so I'm standing there to play with some good competition. But he would leave at 4:30 every day. His parents would come get him. Then we'll get out of school about 2, lift weights, whatever. Then, he's headed home. Todd missed, we had this thing called a pre-ACT. We took it in the 9th grade. Todd missed 3 questions on the damn pre-ACT. Todd was a genius, like, period, like unadulterated. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people like that, his parents invested in him. Last I heard, he actually turned out to be a decent ball player. I think he played somewhere up in Portland State somewhere, but he wound up, he was in medical school last I saw him one Christmas. So he was in so he's probably a doctor by now because that was like in the 90s. So he's a doctor. He's probably a doctor somewhere making nice, probably making a nice living for himself. But this brother's parents invested in him. And if you have kids, even if you and the mom don't get along, at least invest in those kids' education, man. Like, that's one way we can do it. The other way I would answer that question, and this is going to sound crazy, get a mortgage and pay your damn mortgage. That is the easiest way. We were talking about black people changing their financial situation. Most white America lives from paycheck to paycheck, just like black people do. Only difference is they own their homes most of the time. Because they own their homes, they have a higher net worth. When you have a higher net worth, you have collateral that you can go to the bank and borrow against. So if you own a $200,000 house, when you see white people and it looks like they just can get money so easy, there's a reason for it. If the average net worth of the average African American was $100,000, we wouldn't even probably believe in white supremacy. We would be like, yeah, you got people that don't like blacks, but fuck them. That's what we would say.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're making a lot of strong points. Somebody will say, well, okay, just because people are talented, it doesn't mean that they understand business. Because if you think about it, a lot of your entrepreneurs probably didn't do so well in school. Many of the people probably thought that they were not talented based off of grades or academic performance. And somebody might say, well, what we need is really, if you look at the people who create economies are not necessarily smart or talented academic people, but people who create the jobs, the entrepreneur. And that sometimes that entrepreneur is not good in school. Like, for example, the richest guy in Uganda didn't touch a college class or wasn't like a really bright student. That is sometimes the case with some of your more exceptionally wealthy people. What is your response to somebody who might have that particular question?
I mean, that's a multifaceted. That's multifaceted reason I would say that. First of all, you're talking about emotional intelligence. When you get into business, and I'm a guy who's has somewhat moderate level of success in business. I kind of succeeded. Out.
You kind of
I got it.
Go ahead. Can you repeat that again?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm saying I'm just now getting to a point where I can jump back into real estate now. So what I'm doing right now is what I'm saying is this. Success in business is about just not quitting. I don't even think, and therein now you're getting into emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Like, stick to itness. It's not about, look, man, they say the average millionaire fails 18 times before he gets his first million, man. Like when it's not just that you're going to just do something because you're smart. Mm-hmm. And that's that. Most smart people have been taught to stay in the lines. They just have. I didn't stay in the lines because I was a damn 2.5, 2.3. I was chasing girls in basketball. So I was kind of, a hybrid of the two. But I took the hard stuff. I took the calculus and the coding. I took that, but I was a C student, But at the end of the day, I just don't think that it's all about trying to, be investing in a child is not necessarily, it may not be that you invest in that child through academics. You may invest in that child and helping him understand what it is he wants to do to start a business and investing in him. Because when you're talking about investing in a group of people and the talented 10th, that could be in any way. It could be you invest in him an opportunity to go to a business conference, which is what I'm going to do with my son. I'm going to take him to conferences from a young age. He's going to be around. He's going to know millionaires when he's a kid. He's going to be around them. And I'm going to tell him, son, we're going to start a business. And see, I'm investing in my son. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? I'm investing in his talents, and I'm actually grooming his talents. So tell him, look, son, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to fund it. You come up with something, we're going to spend $3,000 and whatever you can come up with, we're going to do it. But you have to explain to me why it's going to work. That type of stuff. That's investing in someone. It's not always just academic. I just use that as an example. Even in basketball, my friend was 6'8". I wasn't, right? Nobody invested in me, but I had heart. I love the game. So I wound up playing overseas, and I even played college. But what if somebody had invested in me at the same time they invested in him because he was 6'8"? He was a top 100 player. I wasn't. But people spent money. They bought him shoes. They paid for him to go to different camps. They paid for him people came and picked him up. People invested in him. A lot of times when you see kids at a higher level in sports, a lot of times people invest in them because once word gets out, okay, this guy has talent, people want to look out for him. People want, like Allen Iverson. You seen the video when Allen Iverson was in that bowling alley and they got in that fight, people were pulling him aside like, hey, man, let's go. On camera. They were looking out for him when the fight broke out. We invest in the black community. One thing we're going to invest in is an athlete. That's one thing we'll invest in. We won't invest in that guy that wants to run his own business. Or we won't invest in, academics is just by far the easiest way to get opportunities in life. So I say everybody needs to invest in their kids academically, but I'll also turn around and say that you need to invest in them all kinds of different ways. So I wouldn't just do it one way and just say, hey, it's only academic.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I want to basically just take a little bit of a break here because I want people to get to the channel. We have a really good interview going on, brothers. I want everybody to go into the description, and I have the channel of Subzero3639's channel in the description link. I would like everybody to go to the description and subscribe to the channel. A little bit later in the interview, I actually copied and pasted. So if you're listening to the restream, all you got to do is go into the description and subscribe to this brother. Very powerful channel. When you subscribe, hit the bell and get all the notifications. So when he uploads a video, you will be able to get the video. And let me just read a few of the super chat comments. He sings, she sobs, please, what of greatness without money, teacher, etc. I don't really understand the comment, but thank you for the donation. Eric P, $2. Mr. Grandeur, this ATL traffic though, thank you for $2 donation. Keith, thank you, and Mr. Grandeur, another $2 donation. Thank you guys so much for your support. Let me kind of get back to the discussion here, and I want to talk about this because in our community right now, there are a lot of kind of like kids who are coming up and single parent led homes. The mom is not there, the dad isn't there. Now we already talk about like how brothers like me and yourself and other brothers who have worked hard and made something of ourselves, that we typically don't want to go back in places like this, and because we don't feel like we're respected or appreciated. But if you find a brother or a young girl who you find out they do have talent, do you feel like Black people, even though you don't want anything to do with that, kind of particular culture that comes in the neighborhood, are we obligated to try to help a person that's talented, even though they have a parent who's a single mom or a bad family? Should we risk our resources trying to do that?
I will. I think that's honorable. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, certain things it comes with it crosses over in the territory of you don't have to do it, but it's honorable if you do. Mentoring a young man whose mom had him, and the father's not there, especially if the mom is encouraging him. I can't live. I can't look myself in the mirror especially if he's willing to learn and he's asking questions. I've known kids like that. When I flipped houses, I made a lot of money, and this guy, a young guy, used to always come around me, man, and ask questions. He would walk over to my house. I was doing up the street from him every day. We'll get to talking. Next thing you know, I made him my project manager. He would go out. I would let him take the truck, run the loads. For long, he had his own roofing company. He was doing roof jobs on his own without me. He was using my materials. Then he bought his own stuff, But he always, to this day, he always talks about, man, I met this guy. He helped me, this and that. He showed me the game. I made more money than I ever made in my life. When I got around this guy, this is what it's about to me. It's about multiplication. And I got a ministry background. And I grew up in I ain't gonna say grew up, but I was involved with white ministries. They're really big on discipleship and multiplication and, sharing your life with someone. So I take those same principles. I take those principles of taking my life and my skills and my experiences and passing them on to the next generation, because I'm not going to always be here. And I, like I said, I have a hint of consciousness to the point where I actually care about the next generation. I care. And so I can't just be focused on just me in my own situation, because, who knows? Like if I can help 30 different kids, 30, my barber's not a kid. He's probably older than me, but I mentioned Salesforce, which is IT discipline. I mentioned it to him, and this brother's already about to get certified. And I actually got a testimonial of a female that came across my YouTube channel. She just graduated in political science, and she already has a job in Salesforce. She had a job in Salesforce making almost $40 an hour before she even got certified. All she did was come to my YouTube channel and listen and do what I said. Not to say I'm some genius, but she did exactly what I said, and she stuck it. Now she's actually talking about quitting, and she's going to be making over 100. She didn't touch Salesforce till June. Had never heard of it. Up in August. And now she's talking about next year I'm going to probably move somewhere else and get 55, 50, 60 an hour. Wow. That's making a difference in people's lives.
Okay, so I guess what I'm hearing from you is those people who want to be helped, go ahead and help them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I know
I ain't wasting my time with them. I'm not finna convince nobody though. Like that's not it. Because if we go in the same direction, it doesn't deter from my journey to help you. It's just a little small conversation or a nudge. If you get out and push a car on the side of a freeway, pretty soon somebody's gonna come behind you and start helping you push. But if you sit your ass in that car, ain't nobody gonna come help you. I ain't.
That's a great analogy. Now let's talk a little about that, because I mean, now, I'm a more Black conservatives being kind of vocal on YouTube, but people like myself, your Anthony Brian Logan's, your Mr. Black, who was even on YouTube before me. Now Mr. Black, he has a little bit more of a giving heart, I think, than the both of us, in the case of he's actually going into neighborhoods and kind of spreading that kind of gospel, like, look, we need to rebuild Black communities whether you niggas gonna, listen to what I gotta say or not, let's clean it up. That's his perspective. I think me and you share the same kind of perspective is, listen, if you don't want, we're not gonna waste our time trying to convince people who don't want to change to change. Now, let me also ask you this. How many times do you think a lot of people have been taken advantage of by just trying to give back because people feel like they owe the Black community? Because, I'm Black, so I must go back and give back to a group of people and give my money and resources, and because I'm Black, I need to help Black folks.
I know a few professional athletes. I went to Tuskegee, and down the street, Auburn University, they would put this one. Auburn had Cadillac Williams and all them different guys. I was there.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I got this damn thing going. All right, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell you, bro, that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make in life is feeling that you owe the Black community. I've had to learn to say no because people started kind of knowing that I was the guy that had flipped houses and made a few dollars. And so they were like, yeah, man, call so-and-so. He got money. It wasn't them for me to get a call from people that, partially knew me and asked me for money because I was so excited when I made in $4,000 off of property. Bought it that morning, sold it at 2, 3 in the afternoon, $100,000. And you start telling people, hey, man, I made it. And next thing I'm getting calls. So people, once that happened, I said, you know what? I got to learn to say no. So, even when people call, man, and a lot of times I do stuff the way I can't help them if I want to. Like the way I'm set up now, I got half of my check go to a bank account in a city in my hometown 2 hours away from Atlanta. And I can't even get there. I had to get in the car, drive to Montgomery and withdraw money. So there's no way I'm touching that money. So when people call me, I only got 50% of my check. So if I can't do it with the 50%, then you just shout, as they say. That's the way I look at it. But no, I don't think you owe you. Nobody's entitled to your money, man. Nobody. And Black people got a stripper mentality in the sense that when you go in the strip club and you tell a stripper no, they got an attitude. Like, I don't have to give you my money. It doesn't work like that.
Let's talk a little bit about that because you're a very talented brother from, I believe you told me you're from Montgomery, Alabama, the home of Alabama State. Ricky Smiley went to Alabama State too. Let me ask you this, man, because Alabama, you got some talented Blacks out there. What was the reason that you moved to Atlanta?
Man, Montgomery backwards than a motherfucker. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. Like,
keep it a buck, man. It's all good.
Montgomery, dog. Like, Montgomery is like they got some industrial strength niggas in Montgomery. Like, I'm just gonna be real. Like, I had a comedy club, right? When I flipped houses, well, 07 I was doing okay. 08 it just all fell apart. So yeah, I had promoted a few concerts and stuff. So I had a few dollars left over. So I said, well, let me do this comedy club. I know that's gonna make some money. So I go invest my last in this comedy club. And me and my partner, we kept arguing and people weren't supporting it. And I was going, and I was like, damn, but they'll go pay $60 to get in what they call the cut line and cut in front of everybody in line and go stand in the club and hear music and stare at each other. Like, Montgomery's just backwards. And I'm not trying to say this to deter anyone from moving to the South, but Atlanta's a little different. It's a lot different. Like, and I stayed here when I got out of high school. I came up here and I used to play basketball every day with hot sauce and all those different. So I know a lot of those guys. I used to be in run and shoot. And I just had fun memories of Atlanta. It's just, I just like today, I just talked to a female. I'm trying to get a $3-4 million line of credit secured. I'm trying to do all my paperwork to do that. But in order to do that, there's no way this type of stuff happens in Montgomery. It just doesn't. Now, Montgomery is a great city if you have not lived there. If you move there and you're not from Montgomery, you probably like it. Mm-hmm. But I'm from Montgomery and I grew up there and I know damn near everybody in the city, so it's like, and I don't know, man. And they have sort of like a crab in the barrel mentality when it came to my business. You had guys out here, lying, trying to get me, telling people they're going to run me out of business. Just a lot of hatred, just any black person that's from Montgomery that dares to be progressive minded and thinking he's gonna actually rise up and build and have and then I actually had a level of, I sold a few houses and made a few dollars, and word got out. And most people, I don't really have any enemies per se like that where somebody see me and hate my guts, but it's more so, guys that'll see and be dap you up, but they trying to stab your girl. They trying to sleep with your girl. They want to, because you the guy that own the comedy club. You the guy, so they don't like you. And Montgomery just ain't the place for me, bro. It's just not. I go home. I stay home about 2-3 hours, see mom, hug her, see my brother, see my sister, and I catch out, man. That's just me.
Let me kind of ask you this. So you saw that Montgomery was not the kind of place for you, and you go to Atlanta, Georgia, where there are more successful blacks there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you feel that being around more successful blacks has pushed you to want to do better, although you're already doing very good in Alabama as it was? You're doing pretty good. Do you feel that being around these other blacks have pushed you to want to become better and to work harder as a black man being in Atlanta?
Okay, I'm going to explain this. I'm trying to get this $4 million line of credit, right?
Okay.
The way that happened was one of my other friends that went to Tuskegee with me and him are very similar. He lives in Montgomery, but through his church, one of the church members of his church, they had a church up in Atlanta. And this guy, he knows that goes to that church. Actually, he got a $10 million line of credit in Atlanta. I've never seen a black man with that kind of money, like outside of some athlete or rapper. Most of the time, if I go to the Black Enterprise Conference, I ain't gonna say that, but it's rare when you see a guy with that kind of money, right? Mm-hmm. So he's been working with him. And so he told him about me. We all met up and drink set and we talked. And, we started talking, and then they gave me this female number. And next thing you know, I'm asking her, what do I need to do? And she's okay, well, you need this, and this. And I said, okay, well, I can do that. And she's okay, well, let's, so I rode out today for lunch and sat and looked her in our office and talked to her about trying to procure a $4 million line of credit. I can't do that in Montgomery. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you can't do that. Look, and I'm not trying to be cocky, like Atlanta's it's everything. It has pros and cons. I mean, it's certain things I love about Atlanta, certain things I don't. But at the same time, from my personal experiences, I have not been around this many like upwardly mobile black people that are actually out here trying to get it. You got some fakers in Atlanta too, but for the most part, man, and they doing well. Like the brother Dave Anderson from Blackonomics, the power, what is it? Networking, Empowerment Radio Network, ERN. That brother, I met him from calling in on his show. I called in on his show. We talked. Next thing you know, he introduced me to Dr. Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson was in town. I called and spoke. He said, hey, why don't you come in? Yeah, because I was actually on that side of town. Next thing you know, I'm shaking hands and talk one of my idols, So I don't get those opportunities often. So I just, to me, and I'm not saying you can't get this in New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, Charlotte, Dallas, Houston. You probably could. But for me, the easiest way for me to do it was Atlanta. Like, if it wasn't Atlanta, I probably would go to Houston because I heard a lot of good things about Houston.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned about those who are phony, because I think that's a problem that we have in this particular Black human capital discussion, because Black human capital is based off of what you know and the skills that you have. And then you have certain people in the Black community that comes as you call the fakers. They have a lot of phony talking points, and they pretend that they are what they say they are not. How do you, in Atlanta where you have so many successful Blacks, how do you tell who is real and who is fake?
To be honest with you, man, I've learned to let people just give you what they want to give you. And then in time, it'll come out. Like, people a lot of times tend to be like black people, especially if they ain't never had taste the money just a little bit, they gonna front. They gonna try to talk like they somewhere. You know, a black person, you ask them, hey man, how much you got? They'll say, yeah, man, I got 100,000. That means he probably got 20. You know, they gonna front. So you got a lot of that going on, but because there are some real ones in the mix, a lot of times what I do, like I deal with arrogant people. A lot of black people that got money, they gonna be arrogant, right? So I don't get in my feelings. I let them talk, and I try to see if I can extract some information. Like, okay, where can I get some lending? Where can I get, you know, little bitty stuff like that? And a lot of times, man, it don't take long to realize that a nigga front. Like, if I come around you and you saying this, but I'm watching you, like I do IT, I make a decent amount of money. I ain't saying I'm rich, but I make a decent amount of money. We go out and you struggling to do certain things. If we go out and if I go catch you somewhere and I see you, I just pay attention. Not to say you're going to drive a Ferrari and you don't have to do that to be wealthy. I know people with a beat up truck with with millions in the bank. You know, you would never know. But right, because one thing I learned, I'm gonna tell you how I learned this. I flew to Irvine. My brother lived in Irvine, California, and I flew out there. People got money, and you start talking business, and they real. They you can tell, man. It's just a difference. Where somebody that's fronting, they'll just entertain you, but when you call them, they full of shit. Like I was at the Black Enterprise Conference, met a brother. He really does own. I looked him up. He does own some hotels. But he was talking real big and grand, like he was going to help me get in the hotel industry. And he gave me his card. And he was talking about, man, it's all about helping the next brother. And I called him 3 or 4 times. He never answered the phone. I said, okay, so I see what type of brother he is. He just want to front in front of the girls that was there at the conference. When I called him, he wasn't legit. So, I mean, you just have to go on a case by case, I guess.
Let me kind of get back into this whole human capital thing, because you've been mentioning certain things on your channel. I watched the Hangout where you had a brother that came on. I was making like $100,000 a month with his Amazon program, and that was a great video. And you guys, that's why you should subscribe to Subzero3639. Not only is it a great channel, it helps you actually make money and do different opportunities. And that's why we want you brothers to really subscribe to the brother. He's a really awesome YouTuber. Let's talk about certain things that if you were to tell black people with the Booker T mindset and the W.E.B. Du Bois mindset, what industries could black people, to improve the human capital index of African Americans, what industries should we be trying to migrate into to improve that and to improve our value in the country?
2 letters, IT. Real simple. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Back when I lost my comedy club, I went and worked at Winn-Dixie, which is a grocery store chain. And I was making $13.50 an hour as an assistant produce manager. And I was miserable. Right? I had a degree in business administration and information systems. That's my degree. I knew how to code C++ and Java. That's all I knew, right? That wasn't enough to get a job. Right? Nobody would interview me, anything. So what I did was I started studying for the Oracle test first, because my brother is an Oracle consultant, right? He actually got hired directly by Oracle. He's an Oracle financials guy. He does accounts payables, all that. So my brother has always made over $200 well, right? Mm-hmm. So I would always ask him like, hey, what do I need to do? He told me, he said, go get your Oracle certificate, just get a certification. In fact, you don't even need the degree, actually. So I went and tried to take the test and failed. I failed it twice. Then I found this course that is this place that's now defunct called Set Focus. This is around 2010. Set Focus trained me on what I needed to know enough to get an interview. And it actually helped me with my resume to get into an interview process. My first job was $30 an hour. $10.99. That means I made every dollar. I didn't get no taxes, nothing. Social Security didn't taken out. So every Friday I was getting $1,200. I went from making $450 a week to $1,200 a week. And some weeks I was making $1,350, $1,400 an hour. A week, because I went, and that was the first job. After that, I jumped up. Now, I'm north of 60, but I started at $30 an hour, and I hovered from 30 to 40 to 50, where I did that for a couple of years. And now when people call me, they ask for my rate now. I'm going to try to tell them 75 when they call me per hour. I don't want no, because that's how it is. But I'm telling you now, the easiest way in any of your subs or anybody that's going to come back and watch this video, if you don't remember anything else that I've said on this interview, and I want to thank Brother O'Shea for inviting me to do this interview. I'm going to say this, man. Salesforce. That is the future. Salesforce. It is one word. Salesforce is basically what they call a, not ERP. What is it? Customer relationship management software. It's basically, it deals with managing the relationship between your customers and you, the business owner. So you have customer contacts, customer information, accounts, everything is managed within this, and it's all managed over the cloud. And the cloud is just a funny way of saying dialing into the internet. It's not on a server somewhere. It's in the internet, in the cloud. So you don't have to save it on your computer or on your cell phone. You can dial in on your phone. Salesforce is easy because all you have to do is get that first certification, which is called a Salesforce administrator. You're talking $30 an hour right there just for that one. This Salesforce is a lot easier than what I took first, which was Oracle and T-SQL. It's actually because I learned how to code. You don't have to learn how to code. It's strictly declarative, which means it's all point and click, drag and drop. That's it. It's just understanding the application or understanding the actual functionality within Salesforce itself. Once you dial into Salesforce with your email, you start playing with it, and in minutes you can create an application. I'm talking about with no experience. Like you can create, it's the future. People, the reason I'm saying this is because companies are getting away from coding. Because every time a recruiter needs to go find someone, they have to go get somebody that knows this and somebody that knows that. And these companies are paying $125 an hour for this guy and $120 because you got to pay the recruiting firm, and the recruiting firm takes their cut, then they give you the rest. Mm-hmm. So what's going on now is the Asians, if you go, and I'm not just saying this, go on Wikipedia and look at the highest ethnic group that's making the most money. It's going to be Asians. And if you go and look up Silicon Valley, Asians make up over 55% of Silicon Valley right now. Indians are coming over here with just the certification, and I've seen it firsthand where they coming over here, and in like a year or two, they're making over $100,000 a year. This is the great equalizer. It's so easy for Black people to get into IT. You don't have to know how to code. It's strictly declarative or point and click, basically. And all you have to do is study for the Salesforce certification. Now, there's a website I'm going to give out. It's not my website. Not trying to do a shameless plug. It's for someone else's website. And the name of it is thebecomingproject.org. Mm-hmm. www.thebecomingproject.org. She teaches classes. She's been kind of busy. She was supposed to do one at the end of the year. She's not. But basically, anybody, I tell you what, you can email me. And it's basically the name of my channel at Gmail, right? Subzero3639 at Gmail. And I'll point you in her direction, give you the phone numbers. I'll also give you the information you need to learn. But if you want me to answer that question again, basically in a short word, a short sentence, a phrase, basically, IT is the future. IT will make it where Black people aren't, where it'll just pull us up from where we were. Like the average Black man makes 38,000 a year. The average Black woman, according to blackdemographics.com, makes 34. So in IT, you don't make 34,000 a year. The average Salesforce administrator makes 98,000. So that just goes to show you.
What I'm going to do is include your email in the description. So let me go ahead and review this real quick. So guys, great interview we have here. I knew it was going to be a good one. So we'll just continue here. Let's everybody get the likes up on the video. Appreciate you. And brothers, if you're in the video, thank you, Mr. Grandeur, for our super chat. Hey, if you're a brother and you're listening to this interview, if you can support, always like the video, right? Get the likes up. We want to know that you brothers are appreciating what we are trying to do. And some of you sisters here, Bronze Curl, see you have 136 people watching. If you're a person who hasn't donated in a while, go ahead and hit the super chat button. But if you can't do that, like the video, right? We have a powerful brother on the line. We do these shows for the Black male community. He's been busy, just got off of work. So we want to put these informative shows up for you, so you brothers can learn and also get to know the YouTuber. So for those in the live channel, do me a favor, and shout out to Mr. Grander for the super chat. Do me a favor. Let's go ahead and go into the description or into the links, and let's sub to the brother, okay? Because he came over today, to talk to us. It's personal time, right? Nobody has to do things for you, but you wanted to do this. You want to see Black people do well. So again, let's go into the YouTube chat. Hit the YouTube button. Subscribe to him. Sub. Thank you, Generate for subbing. And for those of you listening to the replay, let's go ahead and do the same thing, and we'll continue. And once again, thanks again, Subzero3639. So let me ask you this. So we know IT is one. Are there any other industries that you feel that we can raise Black human capital outside of IT, in your opinion?
I mean, quite frankly, I would say IT. I mean, of course, people go into healthcare. Let me say this. I know I'm gonna answer that question, but let me give a nuance for this IT. Black people, please stay away from Network Plus, Security Plus, and networking. That's the blue collar of IT. And I'm sure somebody on here is probably gonna think I'm speaking sacrilege right now, but let's just hear me out. You want to quickly get north of 6 figures? Salesforce or database development, business intelligence. Those are the guys that make the money. But when you're dealing with IT, Black people, we want to go get A+ certification, Security Plus. Yeah, you might make 50 or 60. But if you really want to get the big money, stay away from that. Because I see too many Black people with those certifications complaining. They wind up sending me emails saying, man, I'm in IT. I got a Network Plus, Security Plus, and man, I only make 50,000. I want to do better. I don't see how I can, because we're doing the wrong stuff. The Indians are coming straight over here getting into the stuff that really pays. Now, that's that.
Let me just ask you real quick. What was the website?
You know what, man?
You mentioned the website.
It's www.thebecomingproject.org. It's a Christian lady out of Atlanta. She lives in Conyers, and she trains people.
Thebecomingproject.org. Okay, so that's now in the description. Let me ask you this, because you said, when I said healthcare, seemed like you're a little hesitant on that, and I'm just kind of interested.
Actually, I'm ignorant. I don't know. My sister's a nurse anesthetist. Basically anesthesiologist. She puts people under. She makes damn good. Okay. Everybody I know in healthcare does well. I'm kind of burned out because I meet a lot of Black women that are nurses, and they hate it, and they try. So I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to, but I'm a little different because I don't really give a damn about liking a job. Like if I had to shovel shit and they paid $500 an hour, I'd do it. I'm not like, do what you love. Damn that. Black folks messed up right now. We need to get money. Then what your children can do what they love. Your grandchildren. You can't. Because your grandparents didn't leave you nothing. So we got to start thinking different. Get as much money as you can. Stop going to college, majoring in psychology, criminal justice. That's the problem. I'm sorry, man. I hate to get.
No, man.
I get a little,
I'm trying to improve my interview skills.
I see so many Black. I see so many of us, O'Shea, that major in stupid stuff like psychology and criminal justice. And I'm like, what, you want to be a lawyer? No, I don't want to be no lawyer. But what you want to do? Just pledge? You just went to school to pledge a Greek fraternity or something? Like, what did you really go to school for? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, Black people go to school and major in the worst majors, and then they bitch about, inequality. And like, no, you majored in the stuff that doesn't pay. All you gotta do is, it's a book out there called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And they got a website now because, I'm old. I did it. When I did it, it was just a book. But now they got a website. I think it's through the federal government, Occupational Outlook. Go look and see who make the most money. See what you have to do that and do it. That's how you get ahead. Human capital is like, for me, all I can do is speak to what I know. I know real estate. I know if you want to start a comedy club, I know that. And I know other things I've done. I've ran a few businesses, but I know business, IT, but I can't really tell you if going into, being a marine biologist is a good way to, I don't know. I haven't done it, so I don't want to speak ignorantly.
No, I agree with the honesty. And I do have a lot of things to agree with you because I was watching last night because I have a heart for like developing nations, and especially because I've been to Africa once, and I wanted to kind of dedicate myself to maybe doing healthcare there. And so what I noticed, I saw a lot of people.
I got connects in Uganda, man. Me and you need, next time you go to Uganda, call me because I got connects with the president and everybody over there. So just let me know.
Museveni?
I don't know who he is. I just know somebody. I don't want to say their name, but I know somebody over there that's in a real powerful position.
Okay, cool. So I might be going pretty soon. So I got a new visa. Let me ask you this. So I was looking at because if you guys are familiar with, I know you're familiar with Africa. So there was a war that was in Liberia that kind of Charles Taylor started, and there was different factions. He had like the Firestone area of Liberia, and President Amos. He had Monrovia, and so there was a big war where a lot of the township Liberians left. And for those people who don't know, the people who have the highest chance to get a U.S. visa, most Liberians, because it was like American colony, they typically get a U.S. visa maybe easier than some other African countries. I don't know why that is, but anyways, so I was looking at all these people from Liberia who are coming back to the USA, or from Liberia back to from America back to Liberia. They lived in America for like 15, 20 years, and now the country's stable and coming back. And I noticed that all of these people had no real human capital. Like one person, they worked as hotel manager. Another person was like a dance instructor. Another person was like, none of these people, the industry that they were really trying to bring back were not even as valuable in America. And I was thinking to myself, like, wow, like these people are coming back to the country to help build the country. And they couldn't even be a factor in the economies in America. So what you're saying is so true. A lot of Black people who are even relocating. I saw one girl who was in the UK and going back to Ghana, and she wants to start a dance school. I mean, you look at these people who are coming from first world countries back to Africa and not really bringing something back that immediately helps the country. And what you're saying is Black people do have this notion, like, I'm gonna, major in what I love to do. I mean, if anybody thinks that you like studying medicine and studying pathology and looking at slides all day, if that's fun for 12 hours a day, it's not, right? You do certain things for the future. And what you're saying is totally point on. Black people and Africans, some of them, right, that are in the United States coming back to, rebuilding other countries, they're coming back with a low human capital. And this is why I think countries like Liberia, countries like Sierra Leone, they stay under because even the people that come back to the country, they don't come back and really bring a great skill.
Yeah, man. I think that's dead on. I think that therein is the same issue that we face as African Americans in America. I think we go to school and we major, and the heaviest we'll go is education. I mean, we'll be, and my sister has she'll probably kill me, but she got a doctorate in her education. So she's as deep as you can go. But people that have a doctorate in education, if you got a doctorate in electrical engineering and somebody has a doctorate in education, who makes the most?
The engineer, yeah.
The more math you do, the more money you make.
Right.
For the most part, unless you're talking about medical, then it's different. But they have I think it's called STEAM when you start getting into medicine, whereas with computers and stuff and engineering and robotics, it's called STEM.
Right.
So Black people don't go into those majors. And I'm talking about in the low single digit percentage wise. That's why we don't have the human capital. You talking about Liberia. Liberia is a great example. So you telling me you're going to come to America for 20 years, you're a refugee, and I know the federal government gave you all types of benefits, and everything because you're a refugee from an African country and they brought you over. So they gave you money, they paid you rent probably. They did all types of stuff. I remember people from New Orleans. Man, I remember when Hurricane Katrina hit. If you were a Katrina victim, you know how much shit you could get? You could get anything. They came to Montgomery, they came to Birmingham, they was all over Atlanta, Houston. But it's a mentality. Like you're thinking, and that's why I said earlier, I'm gonna say it again. Black people only understand pain. When shit start to hurting, we're gonna start using our critical thinking skills and say, well, maybe this isn't the best way. Maybe I shouldn't major in something that I like. Like look, I like playing basketball. I can't major in basketball. I like, there's plenty of things I wanted to do in my life that I couldn't do because they don't pay. So when you go to school, don't major in psychology because you like people. That's the dumbest sociology. I want to help people. You want to help somebody major in, computer engineering, get a job making $100,000 and be able to write a check for $500. That'll go way further than being a social worker. Help somebody pay their bills, be able to help people for real and give them. Black people, we have a shortage of real tangible assets. So because of that, because our ancestors or the prior generations didn't build economically, because I am a somewhat of a proponent of Jason Black. I agree with him and Dr. Claude Anderson. We don't have anything to compete with. We don't have any economic infrastructure. Nothing's been left for generation and generation. So now it's time for us to have to get in the mud. Mm-hmm. So getting in the mud may mean going to school and majoring in something that, I'm sorry, it just does.
No, I definitely agree. Let me, and that's why I'm been over here in Poland for 2.5 years, trying to get, as you said, man, trying to improve my Black human capital. Every year it gets a little bit better. So I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I ain't where I used to be.
I say about 10 years, you'll be making more money than everybody. So, I mean, I think it's great you started this channel because a lot of brothers are seeing like, hey, man, you could go to medical school. You don't have to, you don't have to go and try to make it to the NBA. You can go to medical school. You can go. So I think even when you become a doctor, I think it's good that if you have this channel, let people see, talk about the money. I heard, what's his name? Roland Martin was talking about this Black CEO of a company. And the guy was like, how can I reach the youth? And he was like, man, you make $10 million a year. Talk about that. Talk about how much money you make. Mm-hmm. Black people need to hear that because a lot of times you tell a guy, hey, man, you do IT, you do what I do, you can make $65 an hour. People listen in. Mm-hmm. But you come to my, hey, man, why don't you do IT? I don't like computers. Like, okay.
No, that's true. I need to start talking more about that. And let me do some quick. Yodi Day, he has a question. And brother, if you have 139 people watching right now, let's get 13 more people to like the video. And for those of you who are in the chat and you want to subscribe to Subzero3639, do me a favor and go into the description, hit the link and hit the bell. There's no reason why you brothers should not be subscribed to this channel. Shout out to my man, Ted Randolph out of Canada by way of Ghana. Let's get the likes up. We are only about 9 more away for 100. So let me do this. We have a question from our brother Yodi Day, and thank you for your super chat. He asked, are Cisco certifications good? IT.
I did an interview with a brother why you don't need a degree to get into the IT field. Mm-hmm. In that video, my friend is certified in Cisco, and he's trying to get out. He's trying to get into Salesforce. He makes about 60,000. 60 is not bad. It's not like 60,000 is something to piss on. But when you get, you'll quickly, when you make 60, you'll quickly come to understand like, damn, I need to be making 100. I need to be making, it's not any money. I don't think I'm making a ridiculous amount of money. There was a time if you'd have told me, hey man, somebody's going to pay you $65 an hour. Oh man, I'm going to be balling. I'm going to be rich, And then all of a sudden you get there, you're like, damn, I need to make more than this. So yeah, Cisco, it's a good way to get in, but it's not gonna, just from my personal experience. Now, some comments, but for the most part, I wouldn't touch Cisco. If I was starting from scratch, I would do Salesforce. I would be a Salesforce administrator. And by the time you get to that third, or what they call the architect level, you got to get $150 an hour. They got to pay you that. Look, you can start right now, and in 12 months, you could be at the architect level making $300,000 a year. You can. I'm dead serious. Only thing that's stopping you is you just not studying. If you go and sit and go on study and hit me up on email, I will send you all the information, phone numbers, whatever you need to know. You can call me direct. I talk to a couple of brothers from time to time to encourage them. Mm-hmm. But I know a few brothers in Houston. I got brothers in Philadelphia that subbed to my channel, and they already about to take, one or two of them already done took the test. One guy failed, the other guy passed. And I got a few subs that actually took the class with me. Just about 4 or 5 of those guys are certified. So that's what I would go into, Salesforce. But if so, in the short, no, I wouldn't fool with Cisco. I wouldn't.
Okay, and that email address is in the description, okay? So if you guys want the email, the website, what you're talking about, just go to the description link. All that information is there, okay? Let me see here. All right, get the likes. So we have 3 more till we get to 100. I guess I want to ask you, is there anything else that you thought that maybe we ought to talk about tonight, or did we cover everything? Or?
One thing I want to kind of touch on, man, and then after that, I guess I'll be through, is this IQ thing, man. There's a lot of information out there to really just, excuse my French, shitting on black people when it comes to us having low IQs, especially sub-Saharan Africans. Mm-hmm. Like they really have it in for them. And I just want to kind of speak to that because there's a lot of interesting information I've found about the IQ that people just kind of brush over that really speaks to the differences in IQ and intelligence with black people.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about that. What are your thoughts in this particular?
Well, there's this one famous guy. He's a libertarian YouTuber by the name of Stefan Molyneux. He's a smart guy. I mean, I ain't gonna shit on him. He's a smart guy, but he is fascinated with IQ, and he really believes that black people because we have an IQ on average of 85 in the United States, that is what they call the sweet spot for criminality. And he believes that black people are where we are pretty much because of our IQ, because we're not intelligent enough and, to really do and grasp certain concepts and be successful in America. And so, and what really kind of pissed me off is there is some truth to, like, the average black IQ is 85. The average white IQ is 100. So there's some truth to that. The average Ashkenazi Jew is 100. I think it's 111, 112. They're the highest on earth. And they're also the wealthiest. They're also the most successful people on the face of the planet. The Jews are. Mm-hmm. So that kind of lends itself to, well, damn, are black people just stupid? And that's why, that rubbed me the wrong way. And I really don't like getting emotional because I will accept facts. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. And for a while, I believed that. And then I started really doing some research. And there's this guy by the name of Dr. Flynn. It's called the Flynn effect, Flynn. And I'm sure some of the guys may know about it. But the Flynn effect basically states that, or I'm going to sum it up. Basically, 100 years ago, we actually tested, or Americans actually tested of an average IQ of 70, which 70 means that they were on borderline being mentally retarded. So today they're averaging 100 and something. So they're saying that, is it because everybody's gotten more intelligent, or is it that they've gotten more exposed to abstract ideas? And see, that's the key word, because if you go back and look at the book called The Bell Curve, that's the guy that first introduced that stuff. And I forgot his name, but the guy that wrote The Bell Curve basically uses the word abstract intelligence. And that's the key word, because 100 years ago, people were more practical, or what they call concrete thinkers. We were not abstract. Black people are more concrete thinkers. Sub-Saharan Africans have an average IQ of 70. There's no way in hell you can go and randomly take a lottery, all of those people in Sub-Saharan Africa, and those people come over here and outperform the Asians and everybody and get all the scholarships. Mm-hmm. That's just the chances of that happening are nil. So what's going on is, white people, a lot of times they want to believe that they're just superior. They don't have a problem with admitting that. They don't have a problem with admitting that the Asians have higher IQs, because the Asians don't run the world. They do. They conquered the world. So yeah, well, I'm not saying that. Look, the Asians have higher IQs than us. Yeah, but the Asians are economically just stepping out of the, the 19th century in many cases. They are. Just coming into the 21st, they skipped the 20th century, a lot of them. So what I'm saying is, when you really get into the black IQ disparity between that of whites, I think what you're getting into is what is intelligence and what does it really mean? Because there's a book by a guy named Malcolm Gladwell called The Outliers that talks about a guy with an extremely high IQ and how his life was just ruined. And once you get to a certain level, it doesn't make a difference. The average IQ of a Pulitzer guy with the range, not Pulitzer, what is it? The Nobel Peace Prize guys, those guys, their IQs range from 115 to 190 something. You just have to be smart enough. And intelligence, just from my own understanding, is really just in one sentence, the ability to tell the difference. That's all it really is. So if you can grasp the concept, like we as black people, we're not stupid, because what that would mean is if they had an IQ of 70 in 1913 and 1920, that means that our IQ was like 50? Because they say we've actually gained 5 points. So our IQ was 50. That means we weren't too much. We were slightly more intelligent than a dog. Because they say a dog is 35. Like something's wrong with that picture, isn't it? We built Black Wall Street with an IQ of 50 in the 50s and 60s. We built Auburn Avenue down here in Atlanta, Raleigh, Durham, Hayti, Wilmington, North Carolina, all these different cities that we built that were economically viable. You telling me we built those with an IQ under 70? We were mentally retarded on average? Bullshit. We weren't abstract thinkers. The IQ test only measures being abstract. So and I'm just basically saying all this to sum it up and just say, black people want to believe, a lot of white people want to believe they're superior because of intelligence, but really the IQ measures abstract intelligence. It doesn't measure, and then I'm not even gonna get into all the different types like emotional intelligence, spatial recognition, all types of different intelligence. Like you play sports, did you play football?
I played basketball and football, yeah.
Yeah, so you ever seen a guy that could do stuff with the ball and you just knew it was intelligence? What they're telling us is that's not intelligence. That they're saying that the only intelligence is measured academically. That's it. What's the word? And that's what they're saying. Basically, it's measured by, being mathematical or literary, some type of way, English, literary. That's the only way you can measure intelligence. So if I take my body and somebody try to show me how to do a dance, and I'm intelligent enough to grasp that dance and stick it, that takes your brain. You're using your brain. And I think it's real stupid to sit up there and say that the only type of intelligence is the kind where you're writing or the kind where you're recognizing some abstract concept. That's the only type of intelligence. As is not intelligent to dribble a basketball, to be able to do. They want to separate those things. I'm not talking about strength. I'm talking about skill. It's a difference. I'm not talking because there's plenty of strong white boys out there. They can't all just grab a football and run 100 yards without getting touched.
No, I totally agree, especially with if Africans are so dumb, how are they coming out here? If they have a low IQ, how are they outperforming even Asians? It's a great point, and I definitely agree with that. I think it's also like the exposure infrastructure, in certain countries to help alleviate or raise IQs. A lot of those things play into
I think you spoke to something real powerful right there, because from space at night, Africa's pitch black dark. So it stands to reason that their IQ would be. So these people, how you gonna get somebody an IQ that don't have power, that didn't even have a good diet growing up? Probably, they probably struggle to eat. And these people are economically struggling. Diet has a lot to do with it, especially a baby. If they don't get enough omega-3 acids, their brain doesn't develop as well as it should.
That's true.
All of this stuff goes into play when you start looking at intelligence. It's not all just that you're inferior because you're black.
That is true. That's true. That's true, man. And also, like I'm in Poland, and we have lights consistently running all day, and a lot of blacks, in other parts of the world, you don't have a generator, you don't have the light to read, you don't have the light to do stuff, which might help you, do your homework and stuff, study all night long. Certain things like that, you don't have the opportunities in other countries, and that could definitely hurt you, just because you can't afford to have lights going on. So there's definitely infrastructural advantages that help people gain more knowledge. And even with the internet, like the constant connection I have right now is not maybe the constant connection somebody might have in Uganda. So a lot of different things play into fact. Well, so again, brother, I do appreciate you coming on. Are there any last things you want to tell the brothers, man? Because we definitely gotta have you coming back.
Bro, let me say this right here. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity. Man, to be honest with you, man, I started my channel back in January. I said to myself, I said, man, I'd be happy to get 500 people. And God bless me, man. I really got a lot of people. And I'm just glad you blessed me with the opportunity to get on here, man, and just try to talk to people and really try to spread the gospel of just, Black economic empowerment. I consider myself a student of Dr. Claude Anderson. He's one of my favorites, if not the favorite, guy lecturer since Malcolm X to me. Like, I love Dr. Claude Anderson. So, I just want to really kind of encourage the brothers and sisters out there, man. If you're listening, go get it, man. Get it for the next generation. Think about intergenerational wealth. Build. I know I sound like a broken record. If you listen to my YouTube channel, you'll see that. But I try to provide as much content as I can that's really gonna lift the condition. That's why you see Tuskegee, the Booker T. Washington emblem on my channel, on my as my avatar, because that's that statue. And what they told us when we hit campus, that's him lifting the veil of ignorance off Black people, And so that's what I want to try to strive to do, like Booker T. Washington, of ignorance, and say, hey, you can go out here and get millions of dollars, because if things go like I'm planning right now, and I get these line of credit on these millions of dollars, and my channel's gonna change all the way. I'm gonna change my whole format, and I'm gonna start giving people phone numbers, information, and I'm an open book, man. Send me an email. I talk to you on the phone. I call you. We can chop it up. I can definitely point you in the right direction. If I don't know something, like that brother that you're talking about that was making $140,000 a month, his name is Tyron Spear, Tieron Spear, like the spear that you throw. And he has a YouTube channel. He can be reached too, but that brother's a genius. Like, he's brilliant. So I interviewed him on my channel too. So
yeah, I was actually live for that one. I have a question. My brother, High Def wants to know: are you a Republican? Unless
I used to be. I got away from them, man. My brother's actually was over. My brother's kind of he was a high ranking. I ain't gonna say high ranking, but he's over the Black Alabama GOP stuff, and I just got away from a lot of those people. Lazy, man. Them people in the Republican Party, if they want the Black vote, they can get it. They don't want it. They're lazy. Because the stuff they have to do is they're going to have to actually go and start really putting together when Trump got in and he had that little 10-point thing, I actually got excited because that's what they need to do. They don't want to do it. Not thing for real. So I'm conservative. And if I vote, I'm voting Republican 9 times out of 10. But that's just me.
Okay. All right, man. Well, listen, man.
I'm really, like Dr. Claude. I don't even believe in voting anymore, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem, man. I really appreciate you coming on to the show. And you said, hey, man, call me at 4:30, and which is almost 12:20 this time. So I said, man, I was trying to call. I was late by 2 minutes. I called at 4:32. But I wanted to let this brother know, like, hey, man, I'm serious. I really wanted to work with you. And it's good, as a YouTuber, a lot of us, little small things, man, keeping your commitment. You do interviews and people take time and want to, speak to your audience or share knowledge. It's always the best thing when you have a guest. Always try to make the interview. Always try to be on time. And so I need to apologize for being 2 minutes late. But, I just want to let, for all you YouTubers out there up and coming, it's always good to know how to give a good interview. It's always good to bring people onto your platform. Don't be stingy, with your platform. Don't be a person that you can't work with brothers. you know, and I think I try to show that on this channel because, you know, people that are going to have more knowledge than you about things, people that know more stuff about what you know, people that are intelligent. And that's one thing that we can increase Black human capital is just by simply working together to share knowledge and networking, which is something I think is the most important thing, is to network with people who do have the knowledge. And a lot of Black YouTubers, they don't do that. You know, they kind of stingy with their platform, stuff like that. But again, I'm all about growing myself. I'm all about, you know, bringing people on who know what they're talking about. So Subzero3639, man, I really appreciate you dropping the knowledge you did today. And glad we were able to make this show finally. And hopefully we can, you know, hook up and you can come back, man.
I want to say shout out to the brother Edward Anderson. That's another YouTuber.
Yeah. He talks a lot, man.
Yeah, he's always on BBS hangouts and stuff. He got the Morpheus avatar. So he probably gonna see this, man. What's up, boy?
Yeah. Get at him. He's a good brother too, man. He's a really nice person, man. He always trying to help always trying to help a Black person, man. I can tell about him. He's a really, really good person. He like to see Black people be successful, man. So shout out to him. Again, there might be a Brother Pill like really later on tonight, man. I'm gonna try to get some rest. I've been running around all day. It's almost midnight. But
I don't see how you do it, bro. I really don't. Like I see you, I'd be like, damn, it got to be about 4 o'clock in the morning over there.
Yeah, man. So I wake up and do what I got to do. I have a little cafe downstairs from me called the Geek Cafe. And if you watch my vlogs, well, you may not watch them. This is my vlog channel. So I've been to like, you know, Ukraine, Budapest, and Africa, and I vlog my stuff here. So I have a little cafe in my building.
You need to holler at me, man.
What?
You need to holler at me, bro, because I travel, bro. I love traveling. I played ball in Brazil, Puerto Rico, Mexico. So I love to travel. And, you know, I'm really kind of into going to, I've been to Africa, I've been to Ethiopia, and I was in Kenya for a while, but I actually was supposed to be going to Uganda this month and I'm not, but I might go in a month or two, but I was just, because I got some connects on, you know, if you're trying to go to Uganda and shoot, you want to go to Brazil, I got some connects over there too.
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Well, again, man, I thank you for coming on. So it might be a show later on tonight, your time, but I'm gonna head on to give him a little nap real quick. Again, brother, I thank you for coming on, man. Glad we could do this.
I appreciate you, bro. You the big man. Shoot.
No, man.
I'm trying to get like you.
No, man. I see your subscribers, man, are already going up. You got at least 30, 35 so far, man, just in 1 hour.
Really?
So
I ain't even know, man. I'm looking, man. I appreciate it, though.
All right, man. So again, man, thanks so much again, brothers. We might see you later on tonight, man, with me and Steve on the Brother Pill. And again, man, thanks again. We'll see you guys over later. Peace.
All right, tell Steve I say what up. All right.
All right, man. Peace.